Hello, welcome back to Claire's Pilates. Today I'm going to be taking you through a short sequence of exercises that hopefully has a little bit of everything in there to keep you going through the summer, whether that is that you need to take these exercises away with you on your holidays or whether your classes are just not running through the summer. This will hopefully keep you moving. A little bit of strength, a little bit of mobilisation, a little bit of everything. Before we get started, one final reminder, these exercises are designed to be used by people that have done at least some Pilates or have some body experience already and kind of know what they're doing. So if you're not doing Pilates regularly, you might need to check in with an exercise professional before you participate. And also if you have any injuries, aches and pains, again, do check in with your medical professional before you do any of the exercises we've got here. Right, let's get started. We're going to begin in standing posture, feet hip distance apart, connecting into your centre, feeling that connection between the pubic bone and the belly button, and feeling the equal balance of weight through the soles of the feet, the balls of the toes, the centre of the heels. Settling the feet, feeling them connect down into the ground, and then feeling that lift of the little baby hairs at the base of the skull pulling up and away to elongate and soften the spine. And finally, feel that opening through the collarbone and the upper back shoulder blade area to give you a sense of presence, but do keep the chest soft. We're beginning by taking some spiraling with some spinal articulation through the upper back. So starting with a lovely easy breath in, we'll take the right arm behind us, watch it go as it circles behind you, up and over the top, takes a hold of the skull, nods chin to chest to bring you into your curl over. Bring it back to upright and then lifting the breastbone into the high release. Let it come centre, we'll let the arm relax and change sides. Circling the other arm behind you, watching it go, turning the head, and then at the top, settling the hand behind the skull to bring it into the curl over, unravelling into the upright stance to bring you into your high release. Let the arms settle as you come to neutral, and we'll begin again. Arms circling behind, hips facing forwards as we come up and over and into the curl over. Unravelling into the high release and lifting through the breastbone before coming back to centre, settling the arm down. Changing sides. Circling, spiralling before we come into the curl over and unravelling before we go into the high release. Centre, align, relax, and we'll swap sides again. Do remember as you come into the curl over, the face, the neck is gently lifting up into the hand, and we're only going as far as the bra clasp. High release, centre, and let the arm hang. Hips stay facing forwards as we spiral, connecting the back of the skull, the back of the ribs into the hand as we curl over just to about shoulder blade level, and then coming into the high release to come centre and relax. Let's do one more each way. Remember, as you move into the high release, we're not flaring the ribs forwards, so we're lifting the nose, the throat, the breastbone up to and along the ceiling to come centre and relax. And each time you take that high release, we're not allowing the spine to bend in the lower back, so lifting up to move away from your centre. And come back to neutral, let the arm hang. We'll move on, take both arms backwards to lift the breastbone into the high release. Press the arms forwards as we bring the arms down, rise onto the toes. Let the heels settle, we'll nod chin to chest to move through the roll down. And when we get to the bottom, you can let it stay there. Breathe deeply into the lungs and then exhale to roll it back to standing, where we can begin the sequence again. Both arms circling back to lift into the high release. Centre the spine as the arms press down and the heels rise. Lower into the heels and lengthen the vertebra as we roll through the spine into the roll down. Take a lovely deep breath in at the bottom. And breathe out, lift through the abdomen to roll it back to standing. We can begin again. Arms circle, breastbone lifts. Palms press down as spine centers, rise and balance. Come back onto the flat foot as we nudge into chest and roll through the vertebra. Breathing in at the bottom and breathing out to roll back to standing. Inhale, circle the arms, high release. Exhale, center, press the arms down, rise onto the feet and inhale, lower. Exhale as you roll it down through the spine at the bottom, we take the breath in. Breathe out to roll it to standing. Let's do one more. Keep lifting out of the lower back as we circle the arms to high release. Press the palms down as we rise onto the toes. Breathing out. Breathing in to settle and breathing out to roll it down through the spine. And this time when we get there, we'll stay there. Let the arms hang, let the head hang, and be aware that most of your weight is into the balls of the toes. The tail lifting slightly up to the sky. We'll take 2 or 3 more deep breaths here into the lungs. And each out breath, letting yourself relax. And the next time you exhale, you can crouch down onto the heels and we'll bring it out onto all fours into your 4-point kneeling. Let's move on to a variation of your Superman. Connect into your 4-point kneeling position, align the spine and engage through the centre. As you slide the right leg out behind you, let's make sure the pelvis is stable. Let the right leg lift, let the left arm take a lift and reach into ribcage closure if you are able. Toe tapping, the back foot touches the floor and lifts. Let's do that, anything up to 10 times. Make sure as you work, the abdomen is lifting up into the small of the back, so there's no movement in the spine and pelvis. Imagine connecting your bottom and the back of your thigh together. Holding the leg into lift, we'll move into the diagonals. Open the arm and leg away from each other into the far corners of the room and bring it back again. Of course, you can do this with just the leg if you want to keep the arm on the ground and give yourself a little bit more alignment and stability. And again, let's do this a maximum of 10 times. Once you have completed your last one, you can bring the knees back underneath you into 4-point kneeling or keep the leg lifted for your thread the needle with arm opening. So the leg stays lifted or you're back on your knee and you open the left arm out to shoulder height. Thread the needle. If the leg is lifted, keep it still, keep the pelvis stable. Come back to centre. Open the head, neck, chest to the left and come back through neutral to begin again. Working with the leg lifted or with the knee on the ground to give you that extra support and stability. Remember, as you thread the needle, the pelvis stays still. You're turning head, neck, ribs, passing through neutral, and again your pelvis stays still as you open head, neck, ribs into the arm opening. Last one. As you open into the arm each time, avoid leaning away from that movement. Reach the fingertips, armpits, chest. Settle it back into your 4-point kneeling, and let's bring the right leg in front of left for your pigeon stretch. Slide the back leg away and choose whether you're going to stay on the hands for a nice opening. Go a little deeper by resting the chin into the hands, or going to your deepest by letting the arms reach away and the forehead rest to the ground. Let's stay here for 3 deep breaths into the lungs. Relaxing through the bottom and the hips as you breathe. Once you've completed your last breath, you can come back onto your hands and knees, and we can do those exercises on the other side. Softening into the shoulders, lengthening the spine, lifting the abdomen to prepare in your 4-point kneeling. We'll slide the left leg away onto the tippy toes. Stay connected as the leg and possibly the arm lift. We stay here for your toe taps, toe touching down and up, again for a maximum of 10 times. Keep thinking about softening the shoulders, lifting through the abdomen, lengthening the wrinkles out of the lower back, and connecting left bottom cheek and the back of the left thigh as the leg lifts. Moving into the diagonals, the right arm moves to the front right corner, the left leg to the back left corner, and then bring them back online. And as the arm and leg open, both shoulders and both hips remain looking towards the ground. And again, you can do this with just the leg if you need to bring the arm back underneath you for more support and stability. As you complete the last one, the leg remains online, the arm opens out to shoulder height, and you can thread the needle, either with the leg lifted or with the knee back on the ground in your 4-point kneeling. Moving into the arm opening and then beginning again. Turning head, neck, ribs, stabilising pelvis and leg, and then turning head, neck, ribs into the opening. Letting it be strong through your centre, so lifting through the abdomen to support the lower back. Keeping the stress and strain out of the hips and the shoulders. And once you've completed your last one, again a maximum of 10, you can let it come back into your centre and move the left leg in front of your right to extend out into the pigeon stretch on the other side. Choosing again how deeply you want to move into this position. Let's breathe 2 or 3 nice, easy and deep breaths. And then you can unravel yourself to sitting and we'll spin the legs around in front of you. If you find sitting difficult, then by all means pop a few cushions or a rolled up towel under your bottom to help ease off the thighs. Let's have the knees bent and we're resting the hands wherever is comfortable. We take the right arm and we slide it down the outside of the right leg as the right leg extends. And we take a hold of the sole of the foot. If you can't reach, don't worry, you find out which you prefer, holding the foot with the knee slightly bent, or fully straightening and not holding on. We stay here for 2 more breaths, lifting out of the pelvis and softening the chest and shoulders. When you're ready, keep a hold of that leg and lift it to place it on top of the bent knee. We'll stay here again for a few breaths, gently using the hands to stabilise the lifted bent leg and bring the belly towards the shin, relaxing the shoulders. We can then extend the underneath leg out fully to straight and rest the sole of the bent foot onto the ground. Wrap around with the left arm to pull the thigh into the chest. Sit really tall through the spine and spiral yourself so you're looking around behind you. Keep pressing the right sit bone gently into the ground. Another breath or two to really lift and relax and spiral. And then we can take hold of that bent leg and open it out to the side. So you're roughly in an L shape. Choose pointed or flexed toes, whatever's comfortable. We take the arm and slide it along the back of that leg, reaching sideways. Try to reach beyond the foot, but keep the sit bones down in the ground. Lift it to the ceiling, and let's move into side reach. Supporting yourself with the underneath arm, but not letting the sit bones lift again off the floor, so there's very little weight in that arm. Come back to centre, reach beyond the foot to return to sitting. Let's take that sequence again. Slide along the leg, reach beyond the foot, lift to the ceiling, move head, neck, ribs into the side reach. Come back to sitting, move beyond the foot and come upright. Again, reaching, lifting, side reach, centre, beyond the foot, sit tall. Last time. Remember, the whole time you're moving, both sit bones are equally pressing into the ground. And then we can switch and change sides. Legs in front, knees bent up. We'll slide now the left leg along the ground and take hold of the sole of the foot at the balls of the toes and draw it towards you. Gently lifting the tummy up and towards the foot, softening the chest. Breathe easy and deep. Let the foot lift and place it on top of your supporting knee. Stabilise the foot and the knee with the hands, and again lift the abdomen towards the shin. Breathe easy and deep. Sliding the front leg away so we can place the sole of the foot onto the ground, wrap around with the right arm, stabilise behind you with the left hand, lift the spine up and spiral around, making sure that the left sit bone is still gently dropping or pressing into the floor. Breathe easy and deep. And we'll take that bent knee up and away, reaching it out to the side, stretching down the back and beyond that leg to lift up to the ceiling, moving into side reach. As you're working through this sequence, remember to keep the front of the ribs connected into the back of the ribs. So as we travel into the side reach, you're not poking the ribs out or leaning backwards, but you are keeping, as we said before, both sit bones on the ground, moving sideways, head, neck, ribs, and coming slightly forwards rather than backwards of the torso. Let this one be the last one. And then we can bring both legs back together and roll it down onto your backs. We're going to take spine curls, so bring the feet close to the bottom and have the hands resting just slightly away from the hips. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out to tilt the pelvis to the north and connect the abdomen as we peel the bones of the spine from the floor, lower, middle, and then coming back down again. Pelvis tilts, hips start to lift, peel the bones through the pelvis, the lower back into the middle back, not coming into the upper back, keeping the shoulder blades on the ground, and then So if this is a familiar movement for you, then you can, of course, stick with it if it's enough. But if you'd like to progress it further, then use any of the options that you have at your fingertips that you may have done in class. And if you really want to challenge it that bit further, you can take it instead into the full rollover exercise. So whichever version you are working through, keep relaxing through the shoulders, the neck, the head. Keep breathing into the movement that you are making. Really discover where you need your in-breath, where you need your out-breath. And let the next one you do be your last one. Bringing the legs, should you need to, back into your relaxation position. Hands behind the head, let's take your curl-ups. Breathing in to prepare, breathing out to chin nod, curl away bone by bone. Breathing in as it rolls back down, one bone at a time. And again, this is your session, so should you want to make this any more challenging, you can use any number of options to do that. Placing the knees into single or double knee folds as you work. Maybe working with some leg extensions. And again, let's make the next two, the last two. And if the legs are lifted, returning them once more to your relaxation position, where we'll roll onto your side for some sideline leg work. So you can use cushion between the arm and the head if you need to, or fist your free hand between the head and the arm. If you prefer to work on the elbow or with the hands behind the head, then do. Whatever position you're working with, will have the knees bent up, the soles of the feet in line with your spine in your oyster position. And we start in oyster. From there, taking internal and external rotation, keeping the pelvis absolutely still as we bring the knee close to the floor and the knee close to the ceiling. As the knee comes to the floor, the foot will lift, and as it comes to the ceiling, the foot will lower. So this movement is really just rotating the thigh bone in and out without any movement effect through the pelvis. Watch out as the knee turns into the ground for the pelvis wanting to roll forwards, and avoid that happening. Let's make the next one, the last one, and then you can simply roll it onto the other side. So on the other side, again, finding your alignment, choosing the position you want to work with your arms, and having the knees bent up in the oyster position, connecting through the centre, and then opening just the knee up, the top knee up to the ceiling. Once you're there, we can switch and swap. Invert the knee towards the ground, lift the foot towards the ceiling, and then swap them over. And again, as you're moving, keeping the pelvis nice and still so you can really feel the thigh bone rotating, cleaning the head of the thigh bone in the hip joint, oiling that joint up. Let's make the next two, the last two. And then we can let the leg come to rest once more and turn onto your tummy for your extensions. So with spinal extension, you can choose whether you want to work the diamond press with the forehead in the hands, or a slightly bigger cobra with the hands away from the head. Wherever you are, elongating through the lower back, feeling the abdominals connect, soft hips, long thighs. And we are lengthening the crown of the head away beyond the fingers as we begin to lift the head bone by bone, then through the neck and the upper back, and then letting it come down one vertebra at a time. Of course, if you're moving bigger than the diamond press, you'll take this movement a little further down the spine still, elongating through the crown, lifting the head bone by bone through the neck, the upper back, maybe sending it further, and then elongating through the waistline as you come down one bone at a time. Whichever version you choose, we're keeping the chest and the shoulders nice and soft, thinking about the sequential movement of the vertebra, but particularly with the higher versions, keeping connection through your centre. So even though the tummy is elongating, you still have that connection between pubic bone and rib cage. So the vertebrae are supported and strengthened as they move, and there's no crunching or scrunching, particularly into the lower parts of the spine. Let this one be your last one. And then we can move the bottom back onto the heels and reach the arms away into your rest position. Breathing very easily but nice and fully into the lungs. And then breathing out, really relax the body. Inhale fully into the tail and lower back as well. And breathe out fully. And with each exhalation, feel the torso folding into the thighs, into the shins, into the ground. And with each breath in, feeling the expansion of the tail, the lower back, and the lungs. And on your next exhalation, you can roll yourself up to sitting. And for today, we are done. Thank you very much for joining me. Well done for all your hard work, and I hope we get to work together again very soon. Take care.